In 2016, the state of Washington adopted financial education standards because they had identified our students need to be equipped with the knowledge and skills of financial literacy before they are self-supporting and needing to make good critical decisions. Personal finance classes provide the knowledge and skills to our students to be prepared to make good decisions with their earning, their spending, their money management, taxes, insurance, debt, and credit. In summary, the state of Washington was saying we need to make an investment in our young adults to ensure they are financially literate before they graduate high school. An investment is an outlay of money in which you expect, or at least hope, you're going to get a return on the money you invested plus some additional benefits. A return on investment, or ROI, is the common business measurement practice used to evaluate and look at different financial investment opportunities. Should we be looking at our educational offerings through a return on investment lens? I believe the answer is yes. I don't think we need to make sure that our schools are profitable. However, we should be making sure that we are good stewards of the taxpayer money that is funding our schools. And we should make sure that our communities are getting a return on their investment. For example, the National Center on Early Childhood Policy and Programs has determined that early childhood education returns about $8 for every $1 invested, with the greatest returns coming the earlier the programs are implemented, meaning that we have greater gains on programs for 2- and 3-year-olds than we do for 5-year-olds. These gains come in fewer students needing remedial education, which leads to less high school dropout, less unemployment, reduced healthcare costs, less need for social services, and less incarceration. In the world of social services, we call it these programs are paying for themselves, because for every $1 invested, the future savings to taxpayers is $8. That is a good return on investment. So what about high school courses? Should we be looking at them through a return on investment lens? Again, I believe the answer is yes. 4 years ago, the state of Washington adopted these financial education standards in the belief that all of our students needed to become financially literate. However, the sad reality is the majority of our high school students are not receiving this education. Some schools have decided to implement the financial education standards through their social studies programs. However, the sad truth is that one, the majority of social studies teachers aren't even aware that our financial literacy standards. Two, when they become aware of the standards, they're overwhelmed because they already have so many standards they need to teach from their social studies standards. And number three, they were trained and educated in history and social studies areas. They have not taken finance classes and feel very unequipped and uncomfortable teaching the subject. Other schools are offering a 1-semester personal finance elective course. The sad reality here is because it's an elective, A, there often are not enough sections of the class, so not all students who want to take it can take it. 2, many students aren't even aware the class is offered. 3, counselors are putting kids into their graduation requirement classes and aren't even talking to them about the personal finance class. So again, the sad reality is the majority of students are not receiving any personal finance education. So what is the benefit, the return on investment of a student taking a 1-semester personal finance class? Is there a good return on investment? Let's see, this is exactly the question that financial expert Tim Rosetta decided to calculate. Tim Rosetta is from the Next Gen Personal Finance, and he wanted to know, was there really a benefit of taking it? What he found was astounding. He found that at a minimum, these students over the next 20 years would save $60,000. Yes, as a minimum, these students saved $60,000 by having higher credit scores, less student loan debt, and less debt overall. They had higher rates of savings. They had higher rates of investing for retirement. They had less unemployment, and they had less bankruptcy. And don't forget, there's also less tangible benefits of being financially secure, and that is reduced stress. Financial stress is huge in our nation, along with having lower divorce rates, because money is the #1 cause of divorce. So if we know the benefit of a personal finance class to one student is $60,000, what would be the benefit of an entire class? Or what is the benefit of one teacher teaching personal finance full-time? What is that return on investment to our community? Well, let's do some calculations to figure this out. As a math teacher, first thing I'm going to tell you is that we have to base calculations on some information. So we're going to base our calculations on the following facts. We're going to use that 25% of the students actually become proficient. That's the same percentage we find in high school math courses. We're going to use 24 students per class. That's the average class size in the state of Washington. We're going to use the 6-period, 2-semester school day. That means a teacher actually teaches 5 classes per semester, and they're going to have 2 semesters, so they actually teach a total of 10 classes in a year. If you're on the trimester, you'll have to calculate out what those number of classes are for your school to be able to use this process. We're going to use the $100,000 teacher salary. That is the average teacher salary loaded with the benefits. So that's the real cost to the school district. And we're going to use Tim Rosetta's $60,000 savings over 20 years. All right, let's do some math. So we're going to take our 24 students and we're going to multiply it by our 25% to find that 6 students in that class are actually proficient in financial literacy. Okay, now we're going to take our 6 students and we're going to multiply by the 10 classes to find that at the end of the year we have 60 students proficient. Now remember, these 60 students are each going to save $60,000 over the next 20 years, which turns out to be $3,600,000. Yes, that's $3.6 million over the next 20 years that goes back into the local economy. However, I told you we were going to do return on investment. Remember, we have the teacher salary as our investment. So we need to take our $3,600,000 and we need to subtract out our costs of $100,000. Helps if I put the comma in the right spot. And we get $3,500,000. Yes, $3.5 million. That is the return on investment for that teacher teaching personal finance for 1 year. $3.5 million back into the local community. Well, that's a great return on investment. So what if we kept that teacher teaching personal finance for their teaching career? So we're going to use a 25-year career. So we're going to take our 3.5 and multiply it by the 25 years, and we're going to get $87.5 million. Yes, one teacher teaching a 1-semester personal finance class returns back to the local economy $87.5 million. Now, I definitely understand the value of high school math, English, and science classes in preparing our students for college and post-secondary education. Critical, we absolutely need these kids going to college. I definitely, as a career and technical education teacher, also see the value in our students taking those classes to prepare them for the skilled trades. Again, our economy needs the skilled trades. However, I challenge you to find another 1-semester high school course that has the potential of returning $87.5 million back into the local economy. The state of Washington empowered our schools with the ability to make a personal finance class a graduation requirement by making it mandatory that all students have access to personal finance education. So now it is your turn to make sure our students not only have access, but they receive instruction by making a one-semester personal finance class a graduation requirement. Thank you.